Hello, in this video we show you how to set up your Samsung Galaxy Note 3 for the first time. So we're actually presuming that you've already inserted a SIM card under the back cover. Whether you've inserted a memory card is optional or not. We haven't inserted one, so we're going to press and hold the power button for a couple of seconds to get the device to boot up, and then we'll proceed through the setup of this device. Now, the exact setup may differ from different models of the Galaxy Note 3 and based on your personal circumstances, but we'll guide you through it as best as we can. This initial setup will take longer than normal. Boot ups after initial setup will be considerably quicker. So the first thing that we have been presented with, and you'll likely get the same, is a little message here to ask about your SIM card settings. So it's detected that we've got a Vodafone contract SIM card inserted under the back cover. So you can choose the one that you want or need based on your configuration. If it's not the exact one on here, you can click cancel and we can adjust those settings from within the settings menu on the device later on, but I'm quite happy with this, so I'm going to click OK, and that will then configure the Note 3 based on Vodafone settings. So at the first screen here we have the ability to select the language to your preferred language. So it's defaulted to English United Kingdom because this is an English device, but you can then go through the list and select the one that's appropriate to you. Just simply tap on the language that you want. So we want English United Kingdom. If you have disabilities and you need to use some of the accessibility options, press the accessibility here, and it's from here that you can automatically change some of the features straight away to improve your experience on the initial setup. I'm not going to go through each and individual one of these because this could take some time, but if you need some assistance, the likes of TalkBack is already on here to assist you with that. So you can click next to proceed through to the next setup screen. The next setup screen will be to Wi-Fi. Now you can switch this on or off, but again it's preferred whether that you have Wi-Fi switched on to maximize the initial setup sequence here. So pick up the networks that are available, and you need to select the one that's best suited to yourself. So you'll see here that we've got some that are unsecured without the padlock and some that are secured with a padlock. Ones that have a padlock next to it means that they have a password protection on it, so you need to enter a password to access that network. If it's not showing up, then you can click add a Wi-Fi network to manually enter the settings, but you will have to have these available. So you'll probably understand this if your network isn't showing up. You enter the network name and choose the security and enter the password if necessary. But I'm going to click cancel because we want to link to this TP-Link one. So I'm going to tap on that, and you can see that it had a padlock on it, so we need to enter the password. So I'm just going to do that out of shot. So once I've entered my password, I simply click connect. Now that should take a few seconds to connect to the network. Now you can see it's connected because the password entered was correct. If the password was incorrect, it would come up and tell you and have the opportunity to enter it again. So we're now going to click next to go through to the next screen. Now you can read through the license agreements from Samsung, and you have to confirm these to be able to proceed. You can then opt in to certain services here regarding software updates. Most people go for yes. Click next, and you can then log into a Samsung account. Now if you already have one, simply click sign in. If you don't have one, you can create an account through the phone right now in the setup process by create new account. So let's just give you an example here. Create new account. You can see that you can simply enter an email address, a password, and enter some key information, and then once you've filled that in, you can click sign up. We can also click cancel to come back out of that, and we can click sign in to enter our existing Samsung account details. Now for simplicity here, we're not going to enter our Samsung account details, so I'm just going to click the back button down here and come out of that, and I'm going to skip this, but you can always add your Samsung account at a later date once the phone is set up. You then have the option to sign up to a Google account, and most people who will be using the Galaxy Note 3 will have a Google account. If you do have one, simply click yes, and you can enter your current login details for your Google account. If you don't, click back and you can click on no, and you'll be given the opportunity to actually get an account and create one. It's a fairly straightforward process, just like the Samsung setup, and it's advisable that you have a Google account, because the massive benefit is that with an Android device, if you have a Google account and you configure it accordingly, all the data that's on your device, such as contacts, calendar, appointments, emails, will back up to the Google servers so that you've got a backup of that information. Now, of course, it is optional, but it's a worthwhile thing to do, and it makes the setup and configuration of future devices simpler. So I'm going to go back here, and I have an account. I'm going to click yes. Now we have to enter our email address, so let's do that just now. I'm going to enter the password just out of shot. Once I've entered that, I click the arrow here. I have to agree to the terms of service, and it can take a few minutes depending on your internet connection and account configuration. You may get messages like this, so it's picked up my details and seen that I don't have a Google Plus profile for this particular email address, and I have the option to join Google Plus now or not now. So I'm going to click not now. You then choose some of the options for the Google account. It's best to keep all of these ticked if you want to get the best experience, but one you may want to be aware of is this box down at the bottom for communication, so you might want to untick that so that Google do not contact you. Read through them and untick or tick at your preferences, but the main one is backing up. That's the bit we've talked about earlier about keeping a copy of the data online. Click the forward arrow when you're happy to proceed, and now what it's doing is restoring any information. So again, this may take different amounts of time depending on your account, and it's bringing what information it can down to the mobile device. And this potentially will continue once you get through to the full boot up stage. Things like apps from Google Play Store will be downloaded straight to your phone, and you'll see them automatically happen in the background. Now you have the option to decide who this phone belongs to. So it's taken my configured settings from Google. I'm going to stick with that, but you can actually change that if you prefer to something that's more suitable. I'm going to tap the arrow button to go further on. Now with the Galaxy Note 3, you do get a free 50 gig Dropbox account. So that's valid for 2 years. If you already have Dropbox, you can add this by signing in. If you don't, you can create an account, and the process is similar to the Samsung and Google accounts that we've already talked about. So either sign in or create your account. I'm going to skip this step. You then have the option to name this particular device. So it's picked up some information from my Google account here, but you may want to name this Bob's Galaxy Note 3, for example, or just Galaxy Note 3. You can find out more here about some of the key features of the device and where your device name will actually be used. So that might be appropriate. And then once you've done that and you're happy with it, click Finish. And you're into the home screen. So you'll see I've got some notifications already at the top here where my device is automatically trying to update. So it's actually failed to download some things that could just be due to poor internet connectivity. And then that's the phone set up for the first time, and I can now begin using it. And if I skipped any of the steps within the initial setup procedure, I can navigate to the settings and complete or add the additional information to the device.